So let me quickly set it up on mine end to see whether I'm actually doing all right over here. So, okay, now, if you're watching this, just help me and see whether you're seeing everything is good. Okay, it looks like it is doing okay. Okay, looks like it is doing okay. I can actually see everything here. Wait, look at me. Yeah, I think everything's good. All right, guys. Welcome to yet another Ask Me Anything session on Sunday night. As you can see at the ticker at the bottom, right? I do this every Sunday night. So if you have asked any questions on my Facebook group or my YouTube channel, this is where I answer your questions. Okay, remember, I can't actually, to be exact, I can't answer your questions via comment. Not that I don't want to. You see, some are actually my students, and you guys drop me emails, and not me. I mean my team members and all that, and messages asking questions. First thing first, I do not provide written so-called response to any questions because I prefer to discuss in person. So either you actually book a one-on-one session with me so that we can actually discuss, or whenever you have any questions, don't expect me to reply. And even my team members reply, we may not be able to convey as effective in written form, if you agree with me. Not to say that we're not good in writing, but just the problem is I think a lot of times, especially when it comes to Facebook advertising, a lot of things are very situational. And I really prefer to discuss like this, where we go over, like I would able to give you more explanation and elaboration about whatever situations that might happen, especially if you ask any technical questions about Facebook advertising. So yeah, so that's how it works, right? So let's understand each other. Let's have a mutual understanding about how things work. If you're not comfortable, then I'm sorry. Okay, so this is how I work. Okay, now, now if this is the first time you see me, my name is Jason. I am from Malaysia, and I have been helping brands, big and small, navigating success on Facebook advertising and digital marketing since 2010. Yeah, it's turning 12 years now where I help businesses kind of like do Facebook ads in a more meaningful way. So yeah, I've been running an agency up to 2020, so which is last year, as we are actually still speaking as of now. But we have another one more week to go to enter 2022. So yeah, and I stopped that business in 2020 because I want to focus on training. Training portion is the thing that I started in 2016. I started actually training only in 2016, and over the years, I had the privilege to learn with over 5,000 individuals from all around the world. So yeah, so that's the meaningful full part of what I do. And in fact, since I stopped taking so-called ads management agency clients, I open up a lot more opportunities to work with people from all around the world. So whatever I bring to the table, whether in my free sharing like this, or some free training, or even some paid training, what I want to assure you is I'm not actually speaking from the thin air. And a lot of cases and all that are actually kind of like things that we learn in a very effective, real cases, okay, where it may come from all around the world. So that's what I do. Okay, so what we do here is very simple. We answer questions that was posted on my various platforms, on YouTube channel, on Facebook group. So if you have asked questions anywhere, remember to come back over here and listen to my answers. Okay, and here's the drill, right? If you have any questions at all, type anywhere in as a post in my Facebook group, or as a comment on my YouTube channel, and I'll pick them up and I'll answer them every Sunday night via a half an hour session like this. Okay, so enough introduction. I'm just gonna roll in. Today I'm using a new software. That's why I actually am still getting used to the whole thing. We have a bit of kind of like differences over here, but the reason why I do this is because, to be frank, for those who know me, I have been actually using Streamyard for the longest time. Actually, I've been using Streamyard for about 2 years now. Yeah, we started in 2019, 2020, 2021. Yeah, I think 2019 we started using this, since the pandemic. So yeah, I mean, it's quite expensive. Now I'm using Melon. Melon now has a lifetime deal on AppSumo. If you care, you can actually go and snap it. $99, okay, for a lifetime. It's a no-brainer because StreamYard takes you $25 for a branded stream like this. You know, you see on my top right, okay, there is a, you know, my logo over there. If you want to have this, your customized logo, or even to remove StreamYard logo, that will take you $25 a month. That's quite pricey if you ask me. I've been paying this for 2 years, and wow, the moment I see this Melon app lifetime deal, immediately I snap it. So I would suggest that you take the same, do the same if streaming is your thing. Okay, streaming is my thing. I use live streaming to do training and all that, you know, even to do AMA, and my Wednesday night show that I've been going on for over a year now. So it's really my tool. So I do this. Okay. Now, all right, as you can see here, we have a question from Oscar. Now, Oscar is asking, you know, where can you find a free Facebook CPM calculator to sell drop shipping products? It's a very interesting question. Thanks, Oscar. Oscar is all the way from Salt Lake City, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. If you're watching this, even the replay, thanks for the question, Oscar. Now, for this question, is there such thing as a Facebook CPM calculator? I believe they are, but I doubt if it's effective. Now, the reason is very simple. First thing first, CPM is a very fluid thing. It is one of the most non-controllable so-called variable or metrics that we have probably very little control if there is even any. Because, okay, first thing first, what is CPM? CPM is cost per thousand impression, and this is the default cost, so-called charges, or how Facebook charge you for Facebook advertising. So basically, you know, it's like whenever you run ads on Facebook, right? It is not pay-per-click, it's not pay-per-engagement, it's not pay-per-lead, you know. So all these are average costs, but what are you actually paying Facebook for is for every time they show your ads to an audience. All right, so so it's actually charged by the block of a 1,000 impression. Every 1,000 times they show your ads to your audience, you pay. So basically, CPM is very fluid. Why? Because it depends on your first thing first, your audience combination. If you're selecting some very niche audience, naturally the CPM is going to be expensive. Okay, and if you're actually targeting countries like Singapore, Hong Kong, and all that, naturally the CPM is going to be expensive. And the other thing is, you know, CPM also fluctuates according to, you know, duration or whatever seasonal changes. Like now we are entering the year end, right? So basically year end CPM usually will come up high. Okay, so that's one of the thing. So basically it's very fluid thing. So if there are anything that gives you this so-called the CPM calculator, I doubt if it's able to really kind of like whatever, I mean, to really show you the real number that can actually help you make any meaningful decision. That's what I think. So rather, I would say, if it's drop shipping product, I think it's a very tricky thing, of course, because I am actually working with a drop shipping or so-called drop shipping similar to that model, kind of like a so-called coaching client in Thailand, where we're actually experiencing a different thing. I would discuss about a framework that I'm using with him in getting a very effective results. But then again, what I think here is the CPM calculator may not be able to give you the kind of number or the kind of idea that you really need to make your so-called whatever decision. So I would rather say that, you know, you run your ads and you develop a framework to test your product. I think that's a more meaningful way. And you should be able to keep a very close so-called monitoring on the metrics that are needed to help you make sound decision whether a product is sticking or not. So yeah, that's what I think, Oscar. I don't know, to be very frank, and I don't think any CPM calculator would actually work to your benefit. All right, so that's that. Thanks, Oscar, for the question. Now the next one we have from Dor. Okay, I can see like somebody actually asked a question already. So what I'll do is I would actually, Cecilia, I'll answer this question in a bit. But okay, now we want to go through this question from Dor. Dor is asking, you know, when you're creating 10 images for tier 1 and using slideshow, do we need a special software app to do the 15 seconds timing on the slideshow for audience qualifying? Okay, good question. Dor, if you go through my entire program, I mean, Dor is a student of my new latest Facebook ads, Facebook advertising training course. Now, if you actually go through the walkthrough, the two-step funnel setup, I have a portion where I will walk you through how to create the slideshow using the Facebook default slideshow creator. You don't need a software because Facebook default slideshow creator is quite, I would say it does what it does. It is pretty straightforward. It actually helps you transform or so-called combine up to 10 images into a slideshow. But if you want to do something more like robust, kind of like flipping and text animated kind of stuff, then of course there are many tools. One of them that you can actually use for free at this point of time is you can actually use Canva. Canva can do that in a very effective way, and it's free to a certain extent. And yeah, I think Canva will be a good tool. I don't need to actually recommend more than one. So yeah, but basically using the default Facebook slideshow creator, it's good enough. All right, Dor. But in case, guys, if you do not understand what Dor mean here about having this audience qualifying mechanism, creating a slideshow for your tier 1 ad and all that, this is basically using my two-step funnel framework of Facebook advertising framework, where we will run two ads running simultaneously, and it's going to be very effective in terms of helping you to increase your ROI and to actually reduce budget waste and overall to get you better result with Facebook advertising. So if you're interested to find out, I would strongly recommend that you actually go through my YouTube channel and look for something about the two-step funnel framework. But a better way of learning this is actually to join any of my free courses. If you go to my website, at the bottom, the footer, on the homepage, there will be several free courses that you can actually go through. And by joining any one of these or enrolling into any one of these free courses, you are actually joining my so-called mailing list. And as and when we have some interesting trainings coming up, usually a lot of them are free, you can actually join to learn more about the two-step funnel framework. So that's what I think you should do. Okay, now thanks for the question, Dor. Now I would go to the next one. And basically, this is from Alan. Alan is asking, when you're creating a custom audience in Facebook Business Manager, how can you exclude people who use free mode? And I understand the free.facebook.com is a way to use Facebook for free, but the problem here is the videos and photos have limited view where it may not autoplay and all that. Now, first thing first, in my opinion, Alan, for whatever custom audiences that we are creating, whether it's for inclusion or exclusion, we can't possibly get 100%. We can't possibly get 100% of the audiences. So I would say first thing first, people who use free.facebook.com may not be a lot. That's the first thing. And people who are using free.facebook.com may not be the audience that you want to target as well, because they may not. I mean, I'm not discriminating, but most of the cases, if you're selling anything, you want to target people who are more, I would say, who with the better spending power. So usually, if you can't even afford a broadband, it's kind of like maybe not the target audience that you're targeting. I'm not discriminating, but yet again, we're talking strictly business, right? So Alan, it is not 100%, because even if you're talking about, like iOS 14.5 issue, we're actually reducing about up to 30%. We're actually missing up to 30% of the attributions and the numbers coming back with our website browsers and the app browsers kind of stuff, right? So it's completely fine. So let's try not to be very kind of like drilling into this thing, but just make sure that generally we are able to set it up in the correct way using the custom audience creation method that I actually share with you in my training programs. And as long as everything is okay, then then we're just gonna go with it. Okay. All right. So that's for Alan. Thank you so much for the question. Then the next one here is we have somebody who called DSJR8. Now, DSJR8 is actually commented on my video about how to scale Facebook ads campaign. This is one of my latest video that gets a lot of attention. Thank you so much for watching the videos. Remember, you guys watch the video. I'm actually earning from the advertising, right? So now, DSJR8 is asking about this, purchase conversion. So he's asking if Facebook track how many purchases a customer make in one visit, or do they simply count it as one conversion, even they have bought a few items. Okay, you're just trying to understand the cost per conversion. Okay, now, cool. First thing first, the cost per conversion is calculated by per conversion, as in like per purchase. If the person buy multiple things, it is still considered as one conversion. Okay, Facebook do not really track how many items they buy from you. So I guess that has to fall back to your whatever tracking mechanism, whether you are using your own manual tracking or you're using whatever GAs and all that, Google Analytics, I mean. So that's one thing. Now, second thing is, if you're asking whether Facebook tracking is intelligent enough to to really understand how much a person actually buy. In fact, they do. If you set up your so-called the ROAS tracking correctly, ROAS stands for return on advertising spend, which means you are able to set up the pixel to be able to pick up the final number, or so-called the amount that the person is spending on that particular order. They will be able to actually attribute this number back to your ads manager to actually let you know the ROAS tracking. So basically, it takes a bit of tracking. Of course, it takes a bit of setup. I won't be able to share with you over here, but you can actually go over to my YouTube channel to look for a video that talks about pixel configuration. I think pixel event configuration, something like that. So that would actually give you some idea. Now, when you set it up, then basically you'll be able to have a very clear number about, like, let's say, for example, you spend about $10 per purchase. For example, you spend 100, you get 10 purchase. All right. However, when it comes to the ROAS, you see it's about 10x, which means you spend $100 to get 10 purchase, and you actually get $1,000 back in revenue. So that makes up the 10x thing, right? So that will give you a better number of so-called better idea whether your campaign is doing well or not. So yeah, I would suggest that you go through the setup. But fundamentally, Facebook tracks a purchase as a purchase without tracking the number of items in that order, but you're able to track the final amount if you set it up everything correctly. So that is how I would see this. All right, DSJR8, thank you for the question. Now I will go through this one. Basically, this is about, this is really a comment. So I try to put as many comments as long as you're not spamming me, right? Bring it up for a discussion. So if you are using Facebook advertisement to drive people to start conversation with you on WhatsApp, that works for a lot of people, because in some countries or even some regions in Malaysia, we realized the normal lead generation using lead form is kind of like getting not that effective anymore. First thing is because people have been experiencing this for a long time. So they kind of like, they got bored with this thing. They kind of like gotten used to it and they know what is it all about. So people kind of reluctant in submitting a lead in this method anymore. So, but in turn, we actually see some interesting movement in terms of like people shifted to messenger conversation is one thing. And even some people actually prefer to have a WhatsApp conversation. It's a two-way thing. So for businesses, if you do a WhatsApp thing, meaning that you start getting a WhatsApp conversation right away, which means you get a phone number, okay? By them talking to you, you get a phone number. Now, on the other hand, right, some people actually prefer to communicate via WhatsApp. They also feel safer and more comfortable. So it depends. So if you want to use Facebook ads to drive WhatsApp conversation, what I usually do is we will use link clicks, so-called the traffic objective, and we will optimize for link clicks, because fundamentally, I would not recommend using the WhatsApp conversation using the messages objective, because it's actually kind of proven that it's not effective. But getting people to start conversation, we're using the API, WhatsApp API link. So traffic is the better one. But when you are doing that, you have to track, you have to make sure you are not using the click number as a benchmark. You should in turn using the conversation that you got as a benchmark of the effectiveness of your Facebook ads campaign. So that's how I would actually see how this thing should be done. So yeah, if you're using this, it could be way useful in case if lead generation is your business and you are seeing some decline in effectiveness with the lead form and whatnot, WhatsApp could be a viable alternative that you can test. Okay, so yeah, Rex, thanks for the comment. Now, last week somebody asked about whether Facebook advertising expert call is for real. So if you have been running ads on Facebook, after a while, Facebook would actually reach out using email and asking that, hey, I'm a Facebook marketing expert. I want to schedule a call with you to actually go through some recommendations that I have on your campaign. And a lot of people would kind of like panic and say, is this gonna be like, is this a scam? Is it something? But I would say, this is real. But I have heard some scammy issues coming up, because some of my students actually reported that somebody who claimed to be a Facebook marketing expert, when they call, they say that they can offer some free advertising credit. Now, Raizan is commenting that it's legit, but if Raizan, if you're watching this, I'll be doing this video, publishing out for review. Do you guys actually offer free advertising credit. I'm not saying about the tens of dollars. They're talking about hundreds of dollars kind of like ad credit by, really going into a call with a Facebook marketing expert. So if you guys don't offer this kind of thing, then you probably want to look out in the market where people are actually doing this kind of calling or so-called cold messaging or emailing to businesses about this kind of offer. So you might want to look into that, because I was actually kind of like, somebody informed me about this. They received an email about, like, written in this way. So yeah, but however, if you see all the emails and everything are really coming from facebook.com and all that, all the domains are correct. So I would say it's cool. 100%. I think it's cool. So, and Facebook marketing experts are really cool people to talk to. So schedule a call is free anyway. So learn a lot from them and see whatever that you can actually implement on your Facebook ads campaign. And of course, maintain a good relationship with them is actually good, because I would say maybe doing this call, they will verify you as a legit or real business, or with a real person behind it. They probably will give you a better care on your Facebook ads account. I don't know. So yeah, go for it. It's cool, right? All right. Right, son? Thanks for commenting. This is really coming from Facebook marketing expert. All right. So the next question is from Alan. This is the last one over here, and I have about a couple of questions on the chat. I'll bring it up. Now, Alan is asking if you want to test which is more effective for tier 1 campaign. How can you make an exclusion to avoid showing 2 tier 1 ads to the same individual if you run both at the same time? If you are using first carousel, B collection, it's very tricky. If you're not using video for both, it's tricky, because first thing first, if you're using carousel, unless you're using video cut in your carousel, as in like video instead of single image for your carousel, we are not able to track silent viewers, as in, because if you use video, we are able to qualify a so-called or an audience by the time spent on the video. If not, it's a bit tricky, because carousel, if you're using single image, we can't. Now, the other part is if you are using the collection also, the only thing that we can do is we can only qualify an audience by clicking into the collection or the internet experience. So if you're using both without video, it's a bit tricky. But if you're actually using video for both, whether carousel video and when it comes to your collection, you use so-called the video as a main creative, you can still effectively exclude. So you just make sure you exclude both videos, okay, on your audience targeting. So basically, it's gonna be fine. All right. So guys, if you guys are, if kind of like you don't know what I'm talking about, right? Me and Alan actually we are using my 2-step funnel framework, which is my framework of advertising on Facebook, using at least two ads simultaneously. So this is a framework that I've been using since 2016, and thousands of people around the world are using this framework to run ads by, to get better results and to reduce budget waste. If you want to learn this, I would suggest that you can actually go to my YouTube channel and look for anything about the 2-step funnel framework. And if you want to go further and learn more, then there will be links for you to actually join any of my programs to learn. But the easiest way for you guys to come in is really go to my website, tripwebacademy.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, go for those free courses or trainings available, enroll into any one of them, then you'll be part of my mailing list, and I will be able to, talk to you and to communicate with you about whatever trainings coming up in the future, so that you can actually learn directly with me. Most of them I'm actually doing a lot of live trainings where I can share with you more about this framework. It's gonna be a very interesting framework if you know how to use it right. Okay, so Alan, yeah, that's my answer. Thanks for the question. Now let me bring this down, and I think we have quite a number of questions coming in here. So let's take a look at this, right? So yeah, what's up, guys? And we have Gagan here. What's up? What's up? Okay, now thanks for joining. And okay, now let's see, who is this? Yeah, so this is one guy. Wait, I'm actually let me go through the first one first. Okay, now first, Cecilia asked this question. Okay, I'm using the default setting, that's why it's kind of like interesting. It's in pink color. This is so sweet, right? But anyway, it's Christmas. I'm gonna configure this. Okay, now Cecilia, this is from Cecilia, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Okay, now Cecilia is asking, you wonder why you get a lot of outbound clicks, like thousands, but when you look at the Shopee insights, there are only less than 300 shop visitors. Don't know outbound clicks successfully land on Shopee page. You are not using CPAS, by the way. Okay, now, okay, first thing first, Thank you for the question, Cecilia. I mean, this is a very good question, I must say. You see, a lot of people will believe that whenever I get a click, I will get an equal landing page view or visit on my store, on my website, or something like that. Now, this is actually not the case. This is usually not the case. You know why? Because you just have to imagine, right? Every time you click on an advertisement, before you go over, especially if you're going to marketplaces like Shopee, Lazada, the process of landing to the product is quite long. If you understand what I'm talking about, because first I click, then they will actually probably prompt me directly push it over either to the web version and get me to actually open the app, and kind of like a lot of steps in between. Even if you have the app, so-called the Shopee app open ready, when they click over, it may not be loading to the product page. Maybe on the second time you click, then only it goes to the product page. So that's the problem about advertising on Facebook without the CPAS success. So it's totally normal. So, okay, now what's the so-called the healthy ratio? I would say 30% will be a healthy ratio, especially if you're talking about marketplace. Now, for website, clicks to landing page view, the normal ratio has to be 50%. If we are below, then you probably want to check something about your website loading time and whatnot. But when it comes to Shopee and Lazada, our benchmark is 30%, which means if you get 1,000 clicks, you probably get 300 landing. Anything below, if as long as not too low, then we can accept. That's why we don't measure the cost per click. We measure the cost per visit on the product that we are driving them over. That's why if you're not having CPAS, the tracking has to be a little bit more complex. You have to make sure that you're tracking the whole process to make sure that you're getting the real cost per visit or even the cost per purchase when it comes to over to your Shopee or Lazada, shop. Okay, so that's completely normal. Cecilia, I hope I answered your question. So thanks for the question. And the next one is also coming from Cecilia, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, correct. So would you target cold and warm audience in one campaign? Say one ad set is for cold, another one for warm. Have you ever done for special? We do actually, Cecilia. I'm not sure whether you have actually enrolled in my Facebook ads for Shopee course, which is a course where I share with you my two-step funnel framework. Usually we will definitely have at least 2 ads. That's why I say that my two-step funnel framework has 2 ads. At least I would say that's the minimum. At least 2 ads running simultaneously. So the tier 1 is where we will go out and target a cold audience. And when the cold audience come into our universe, they will take some action and we will qualify them as an intended audience, and we will in turn show them the tier 2 advertisement, which is to retarget them for a specific duration of time. We don't retarget for long term because it's going to be ineffective, because people don't really take that long to consider whether to buy from you or not. That's why. So basically, that's how we have these two. My two-step funnel framework always have 2 campaigns. One ad set for cold, one ad set for warm. So that's how it works. But if you're new to this, if you're not sure how to do this, you can actually join my my courses. You can actually go over to my website and look for Facebook ads for Shopee, if I'm not mistaken, and go for that. Okay. Thanks for the question. And let's see. Now, we have this one coming from Renz, I think. So you just want to ask, how would you see Facebook ads 5 years from now? Wow, that's a very long one. We don't even know what will happen in 2022, right, my friend? So 5 years from now, well, I don't know. First thing first, I think Facebook and Instagram is going to be here to stay. But yet again, things change too fast digitally. I think a lot of people won't even be able to give you some insights about what's going to happen next year even. So I would say 5 years, I don't really know, but I would say Facebook ads will still be relevant. However, if they are not evolving as fast as the behavior shift among the audiences, I think they're going to lose out a big chunk, like especially now we have TikTok rising. A lot of people are saying that, TikTok is going to take over Facebook and all that. But I would say all these things coexist, right? Coexist now, because unless something really like crazy happened that shakes up the entire landscape, but I would say all these platforms, as long as they are evolving fast enough and staying relevant, they will still be here to stay. But yeah, that's what I think. 5 years is a bit too long, but thanks for the question anyway. And happy holidays, all right? So you guys, and for anyone who's celebrating this, okay? So let's see. Who else over here? Let's Okay, now see. Okay, now this is from Gagan. You got invitation for Facebook business partner as creative. You join the program, you don't get any benefit of a Facebook marketing partner. No, I can't help you raise any request to the internal team because that's between you and Facebook. And your business and my business are not related. I would not be able to kind of like have you raise anything. But then again, you have to, you know how to actually talk to Facebook in any way. Talk to them and see how you can resolve the problem that you kind of like have with them. Okay. And yep, Gagan, I'm so sorry I can't help you because that's beyond my jurisdiction. That's beyond my expertise. Okay. And yep, Merry Christmas to you. All right, guys. And okay, now somebody is asking, this is a question related to Cecilia's first. Could the iOS update have some contribution to this situation as well? What was Cecilia's first question already? It's about outbound links and all that. Yes, I would say yes, because iOS 14.5 affects website attribution and mobile apps. So for Pixel, they will lose something. For mobile apps tracking, they will lose something, especially on the iOS environment. So it might contribute to the situation. It might contribute to the situation. Okay? And somebody is saying, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. Okay? And Gagan is saying, you watched my video about the agency partner. How much time it take to join a program after spending 10,000? Can you spend an amount from a personal ad account? Okay. If you want to become a marketing partner, preferred of just a normal marketing partner, first you need to do it on a business manager. You can't do it on your personal account. Okay, because Facebook only recognize business manager, not a personal ad account. So you want to do that. And second thing is, we do not know how long. You can actually try to apply though. Go to the website of Facebook Marketing Partner. There must be some way that you can actually apply or for interest or something. So when it's ready for your country or when you are qualified, then they will send you invitation to onboard. I don't think you can effectively kind of like, oh, I want to join, raise hand and all that. I don't think so, Gagan. Based on my observation, because I was invited, to be frank. So I hope that helps you. Okay. And okay, now somebody's asking, the 1,000 outbound clicks you discussed after many clicks in the ad might have dropped due to network connection. Correct. They might be, distracted by wife and husband also, or kids. Okay. And there are many reasons that things would actually drop off. You're right. Okay. And what else? You notice the audience size will be hidden when you do custom audience exclusion. Yes, when you are doing, when you're using custom audience, whether it's for inclusion or exclusion, the audience size will disappear because this is really Facebook's way to protect the privacy of the audience. So-called just they don't want you to actually do any guesstimation on the audience size and all that based on your selection. That's why they removed this feature long time ago. So so that's why before you put in any custom audience for inclusion or exclusion, you have to capture the audience size first in your ad set level. That's my way of doing the naming convention if you actually went through my program. So that's how we actually keep the number in hand, because it's very important to know your audience size when you're running ads on Facebook, especially when you're targeting a co-audience. Okay? Now, somebody is asking, can you explain the minimum ROAS? When would you use it? I don't think I understand your question, because basically minimum ROAS is really something that I mean, do you mean the minimum ROAS I will go for? I would say the minimum ROAS is the ROAS that you're not losing money, if you ask me. So let's say, for example, right, if your margin is 50%, I would say your ROAS must not be lower than 2. Because if you're spending $1 to get $2 back, you're breaking even. If you're spending $1 to get $1 back, then you're losing money. So that's kind of like how I would look into that, the ROAS calculation. However, that's why ROAS really depends on businesses. Like for my case, I have different margin structure. That's why I can tolerate different ROAS structure. But for your case, then you probably will have a different scenario. Oh, you're talking about minimum ROAS bidding. Unless you know what you're doing, go for the default bidding. Don't go for the whatever minimum ROAS. The bidding mechanism, go for the lowest cost and all stuff like that. Don't touch anything. This is, if you're not familiar, because bidding thing could be quite complex. And unless you are quite savvy already, kind of like you really know the whole thing, I wouldn't recommend to go into the minimum ROAS bidding, because minimum ROAS bidding requires a very well-learned Facebook ads manager. So you must have been running ads. And minimum ROAS bidding, based on my understanding, it doesn't really work really well if you have a more complex e-commerce store. So if you're selling one product, the minimum ROAS bidding will be a lot more accurate, because Facebook has a lot of data about selling that one product. But if you're selling a lot of products, the minimum ROAS may not be that effective. So don't go for that. We go for the, the lowest cost. That will be the better one, unless you really know what you're doing to go for whatever other things. Okay. All right, guys. Nice chat. Nice chat. And looks like this software is not too bad. The problem is I won't be able to see the names on my on the chat over here. So yeah. Okay. You guys like this? I'm gonna change the color. Pink is not really my color, but anyway. All right, guys. Nice chat, and thanks for staying with me up to now. And yeah, I hope it's not too late to say Merry Christmas, and definitely, I'm wishing you the good holiday celebration with whatever. Just have fun. All right, guys. I'll see you next week. I don't see more questions coming up. I don't think there are. Okay. Okay. Gagan is still asking about the support thing, right? The marketing agency, partner agency. What are the basic support? I actually cover this in some of my videos about basic. I mean, not so much about the support, to be very frank. It's about the benefit that you get in terms of like whatever support in terms of knowledge and all that. Not really about the support, but I have some other videos that talks about that. You can actually go over to my YouTube channel and look for it. All right. Thanks for joining the conversation. Okay, guys. All right. That's it. All right. Thank you so much for joining. And this is it. We overrun a bit, but I don't think you mind. So we do this every Sunday night at 10 p.m. If you ask any questions on my YouTube channel and Facebook group, join me on Sunday night to hear my answers to your questions. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.